Good morning. Again, we're going to talk about elapsed time. We're going to talk about elapsed time, so it's going to be a continuation. Today, you're going to have 2 we-dos to do, and then you're going to do several problems on your own. So let me share my screen. Okay, so our first redo, it reads, muffins are put into the oven at 5:47 p.m. If they take 25 minutes to bake and 10 minutes to cool, at what time will they be ready to eat? Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to underline our big question. And our big question is that we're trying to figure out what time will they be ready to eat. Okay, then after you do that, I want you to cube the rest of your problem. Okay, so you should have underlined at what time will they be ready to eat. That's your big question. Then you should have gone back into your problem and figure out what's given that's going to help you to solve the problem. Okay, so we know they went into the oven at 5:47. I know that it takes 25 minutes for them to bake, and it takes 10 minutes for them to cool. Okay, and I'm trying to figure out what time will they be ready to eat. So we're going to start at a time, and we have to figure out the elapsed time is given. So the 25 minutes and the 10 minutes will represent the elapsed time. And I'm trying to figure out what the end time would be, okay? So the first thing we need to do is draw our timeline. So go ahead and draw your timeline. Okay, we know 5:47 is going to be considered our start time. So let's label that the start time. So we know that 5:47 is going to be the time that we put up there. So our equation would be, we start 5 hours 47. It's 5:47 is when we're going to start. 5 hours 47 minutes. We know that we're going to add an additional 25 minutes. So we're going to add 25. And we're also going to add an additional 10 minutes. Okay? All right, so let's go ahead and make sure we have 5:47 at the beginning. Okay, so we're at 5:47. Okay, now we can either tackle adding the 25 first or the 10 first. It doesn't matter. So if we start with the 25, we don't have to do the whole 25. As you know, we can do it into increments of 25. So that means that whatever we put up here has the total 25. Okay, so let's choose a different color. And let's make 25 different colors so you know which ones that I'm adding. And I'm only dealing with 25, okay? So let's make everything that's 25 in blue. So we're going to add 25 minutes in blue. Okay? So I would probably do 3 minutes just to make this an even number. So let's jump 3 minutes. Okay, there's my 3. And I'm going to put a +3 here. Okay, so if I add 3 to 47, that gives me 5 50. So adding 3 minutes makes it 5:50. Okay. Now I forgot to put my M right here. So I'm gonna pause right there and let you catch up. Remember, we're doing 25, okay? All right, so we're at 5:50. So I know if I jump for 10 minutes, if I jump 10 minutes, it's gonna be plus 10 minutes. Now, adding 10 to 50 gives me 60, but remember, there are 60 minutes in every hour. So we don't say 560. 560 is not existent in our time, so we say 6 o'clock. So adding 10 minutes to 5:50 puts us at 6 o'clock. So let's label this 6 o'clock. All right, so we've used 10 minutes plus 3 minutes gives us 13. Remember, we got to use 25. So 13 plus what gives us 25? You're exactly right. That's 12 more minutes. All right, so put plus 12 here. Plus 12 M stands for minutes. So now I'm going to add 12 more minutes to 6 o'clock. And that gives me a time of what? You write it. You're exactly right. It gives me a time of 6:12. So 12 minutes after 6. So now we're at 6:12. But we're not finished because we've only added the 25. Let's check our addition. 12 plus 10 is 22. 23, 24, 25. That's our 25 minutes. Let's check our times. 5:47 is what we started out with. We added 3 minutes. It gave us 5:50. We added 10 more. That made it 6 o'clock. And then we added 12. And now we're at 6:12. Okay? So we've added 25 minutes. Now we have to add 10 minutes. So we have 10 more minutes to add to the 6:12. So we can just jump that a whole 10. How about that? You good with that? If not, you can break the 10 down if you need to. So now we're going to add a plus 10, plus 10 minutes. So 12 plus 10 gives us 6:22. So please write 6:22 on your paper. So our final answer is 6:22. Now let's go back to our question. But what time will they be ready? Started at 5:47, 25 minutes to bake and 10 minutes to cook. So that means that it takes a total of 35 minutes, which is our elapsed time. And that gets us to our end time. So our start time is 5:47, our end time is 6:22. We check the blue to make sure that it adds up to the 25 minutes. So 5:47 added 25 minutes gave us 6:12. So then we add an additional 10 minutes and we got 6:22. So our final answer, you're right, would be A. So please circle A on your paper. And I'll give you a few minutes to catch up with me. And if you need additional time, just stop the video. Okay? Okay, let's go to your next problem. Your next problem is a we do. It says Gina worked at a summer camp from 8:45 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. How long did she work? Okay, go ahead and cube your problem. So you should underline how long did she work. We know she worked from 8:45 to 1:30. Okay, so 8:45 is 8:45 our start time or our end time? That's what you need to determine. All right, you're right. So 8:45 is your start time. So please write start over 8:45. Okay, so if 8:45 is our start time, then 1:30 we know would be our end time. Okay, now go ahead and draw your number line. So we have a start and the end time. Then our job is to find the elapsed time. So what was it that got us from the start time to the end time? So from 8:45 to 1:30. So go ahead and label your timeline. And at the beginning, you put your start time, which is 8:45. And then your end time, please write 1:30. Okay, so our job is to figure out the elapsed time. So we have a hour of 8 here, and we're trying to get the 1 o'clock hour. So we're going to begin by jumping by hours first. So if we go from 8:45 and we jump 1 hour, and put plus 1 hour at the top. Now we're at 9:45. Again, we're trying to get to 1 o'clock. So we jump another hour. We're at 10:45. I think this time we can jump 2 hours. Let's put plus 2 hours. Because you can jump any increments you want to, just as long as you don't go past your time. All right, so 2 hours from 10:45 would put us at 12:45. Now, we know if we jump another hour, that would be too much. That would put us at 1:45. And remember, our time that we're trying to get to is 1:30. We're at 12:45. So far we've jumped 4 hours, 1 hour plus 1 hour plus 2 hours. So we've jumped 4 hours right here. And we're trying to get to 1:30. So look, 12:45, I know 15 minutes before 1 o'clock. 12:45 is 15 minutes before 1 o'clock. So let's jump 15 minutes. Okay, so let's jump 15 minutes and label that plus 15 M's. M standing for minute. Okay, so now that brings us to 1 o'clock. All right, so now we're at 1 o'clock. So 1 o'clock is how many minutes away from 1:30? Think about it on your clock. And you're exactly right. It is exactly 30 minutes away. So put plus 30 and put M for minutes. Okay, so far you have 1 hour plus 1 hour. Erase this. Hours are in blue. So you have 1 hour plus 1 hour plus 2. Okay? So 1 plus 1 plus 2 gives you a total of 4 hours. Okay? Then you have 15 minutes plus 30 minutes gives you, and I'll let you figure that out. I'll pause and let you figure that out. Okay, 15 plus 30 gives you 45. So that should be 45 minutes. So these are your minutes, and these are your hours. So now your elapsed time was 4 hours, 45 minutes. Okay, so let's go over here and see if that makes sense. Gina worked at a summer camp from 8:45 to 1:30. Okay, so you went from 8:45 to 9:45. You got 1 hour. 9:45 to 10:45 is another hour. And then 10:45 to 12:45 was 2 hours. So you add your hours up. 1 plus 1 plus 2 gave you 4 hours. Then you went from 12:45 and you added 15 minutes, and that took you to 1 o'clock. Then you went from 1 o'clock, you added 30 minutes, and that took you to the 1:30. So your 15 minutes plus your 30 minutes gave you a total of 45 minutes. So your answer is 4 hours, 45 minutes. Good job. Okay, so your answer is, what would you say? A or B? You're exactly right. Your answer would be B. So please circle B on your paper. And I'll pause and let you get that information. Catch up. Okay. All right. If you need additional time, please pause the video. All right. Now, you have 4 questions that are your you-dos. And then upon completing these 4 questions, you're going to go to Kahoot. So here's what your first question looks like. It says, what time is shown on the clock? So you have to remember that the long hand, this is your minute hand. Long hand is your minute hand. And remember that the short hand is your hour. Also remember that if it's in between, your hour hand is in between 2 numbers, that it would be the smallest number. So for example, this one is between 11 and 12, so your hour would be the least of these 2. You figure that out. Then you just count your minutes. Remember, every number stands for 5. This is 0 here, so that's 5, 10, 15, and so on when you're trying to figure out your minute. So that's how you figure out the time. Then let's go to problem 2. Problem 2 says, Jessie left home at 8:30 and arrived at school at 1.5 hour later. What time did she arrive at school? So we know the start time here. this is the elapsed time. You have to figure out what the end time is. Remember, half of an hour is 1 hour equals 60 equals 60 minutes. Then what's half of 60? And that'll help you with that. Okay? All right, so that's 2 of your problems. Then when you get to problem 3, it says Jackie left for her grandparents' house at 4 o'clock. Her trip is scheduled to take 2.5 hours. What time is she due to arrive? So of course we know 4 o'clock would be the start time. 2.5 hours is the elapsed time. Your job is to find the end time. Okay? And I just told you what half stood for your last problem. So make sure you remember that. All right, go to problem 4. In problem 4, it says Bill's class ended at 2:25 p.m. If the class lasted 50 minutes, what time did Bill's class begin? Okay. All right, now, so it ended. So I know the end time. It ended at 2:25. So let's put 2:25 at the end. So it ended at 2:25. I know the end time. Okay. The class lasted 50 minutes. What time did it begin? So this is what you have to figure out. You have to figure out the beginning, the begin time. So that's your job right there. Figure this out. So you know 50 minutes go here, and you can break it up any way you want to. So this time you're working backwards. So you're going to go from 2:25 back here, and you're going to do that using this 50 minutes. Okay? And you figure out how to count backwards from 2:25 going backwards. You know your answer should not be greater than 2:25 because you're subtracting time. Okay? All right, so get those problems done. Make sure you take your time and make sure you go back and read your big question once you find your answer to make sure it makes sense. Make sure you're cubing each question and using the information that's given. Draw a timeline for each one. It's going to help you. It doesn't matter what increments you use, as long as your increments add up to the times that are given. Okay? All right, you guys have a great weekend. Remember, Monday is a holiday, so you don't have anything to do for Monday. And Tuesday will be pre-recorded. So make sure you tune in Tuesday for your pre-recorded. Don't forget Tuesday, you still have to work, but Monday is a holiday for us all. So you guys have a great holiday. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you on Wednesday.